Hey guys, here for another draft of Modern Masters 2. I know I said the last one would probably be my last draft, but here I am back for another draft. So anyway, where's that? Display card preview window. Awesome. So this is actually kind of an interesting pack. There's a couple of cards that I would think of taking: Chimeric Mass, Lightning Bolt, probably not Nest Invader or Glinthawk Idol, but it's actually a pretty strong pack just because there's some really good cards in their own archetypes, so that being Thrumming Bird, Nest Invader, Glinthawk Idol. And Lightning Bolt's probably just the best. I mean, it's instant speed removal, it's great. And then there's Chimeric Mass, which is just kind of a big threat that can go in any deck. So it's really between these two for me, and I think I'm just going to take the Lightning Bolt. This card is awesome because it's great in Affinity, and it's great in... I mean, it's really, you can just play it in any deck, so that's one of the benefits of it. But Lightning Bolt is just such a powerful card, and I mean, this guy can really just get chump blocked, he can get killed by artifact removal, of which there's a lot. So yeah, I'm pretty happy taking a Lightning Bolt first. I'll follow it up with a Burst Lightning. That's fine with me. And again, this pack is pretty good. It's got a Sunlance and a Nest Invader, and then there are some decent cards, being your Enforcer. This card's okay, 3rd, 4th, 5th play, or like 5th, 6th, 7th pick kind of thing. This card's not too bad, but I don't really love it in the artifact deck because the cards that are not artifacts in the artifact deck, you really want to be very high impact. So yeah, I'm not too big of a fan of Mirror Smith. But yeah, I'm pretty happy to pick up the best card in the pack and have it be on color with my first pick. And then we get shipped this pack, which is not really doing much for me. Probably the best cards are Glass Dust Hulk, Rusted Relic, Somber Hoverguard. I mean, oops, the Waxmane Baku is pretty good. I don't know. I don't really know where I should be going from here. I could try and take like a Vampire Lacerator and go into Red-Black Bloodthirst, but that's really early for that card, which is a little bit worrisome. I could try and take a Glass Dusk Hulk and table the Rusted Relic and try and move into Affinity. I think I'm going to take the Lacerator. I could take this card and just try and be in red-white. Let's do that. Lacerator's pretty replaceable. Oh, and then the next part. The next pack we get past a Gouger. And I'm already pretty heavy. I mean, I've got these two strong cards that want to signal me towards that. I mean, it could have just as easily been a Hearthfire Hobgoblin, which would have led me to going the other way, but... I mean, there is a Blinding Soul Eater in this pack, which is really good in the red-white deck, but I just don't really like to pass this card. I think it's a great signal, so, I mean, probably the people to my right, they wouldn't have found a better card for this archetype, and this card is great in the deck. All I have to do is curve out and play a Gouger on turn 3, and it's going to be really hard for my opponents to win. So, I'm happy to pick up this card here. I'm honestly it's not unreasonable that I'll even play the Apostle's Blessing, but it's not too big of a loss either way to miss on one Vampire Lacerator. You want a couple if you can't pick up Fire Slingers, but yeah. Anyway, another kind of a weak pack. There's a Conclave Phalanx. I'll take the Inner Flame Igniter. I'm pretty happy to play this card, especially if I can pick up some Vishino Slaughtermasters or whatever. And I mean, to be honest, we could just as easily be in Elementals if we get past some late Smoke Braiders or something like that, because we've got 2 removal spells and 2 Elementals right now. And not a great pack for us. There's another Conclave Phalanx. There's a Bloodthrone Vampire, Rune Servitor, Blackscaster Frogling. There's a Sign in Blood, which I see people play, but I don't usually get too excited about it. I'm going to take the Rune Servitor here. This card's obviously the best card in the pack by a mile, but there's really no way that I can move into that in good conscience. I mean, I just got past this Gouger, and this card will probably make the deck just as a 2/2 for 2. And that's one of the reasons why this card was such a good design for this set. Wow. It's a really late sign of the wild, huh? And Conclave Phalanxes have been going around and around and around. I don't think that we should take this Soulbright Flamekin over it. I think that it's probably the right pick. I could have just taken the Plaxcaster Frogling and tried to move in on it. I just don't really like giving up all these good early picks by moving in. Maybe I should just be passing it. It seems really open at the table, though. I haven't seen any good Bloodthirsty cards yet, which is a little bit awkward. I might end up missing this extra 2-drop, but I'll take this speculative pick here and see if we want to move in on something like that. Again, I can take a Mutagenic Growth and sort of hedge my bets. It'll be best if I end up in a green deck, but you never know if I could possibly play it in this kind of deck. And outside of the Gouger, I really haven't seen much. Well, nothing leading me in any solid direction, except there are some spirits going around too. So maybe that's where I should be. This could be a disaster. Definitely this has the makings of a deck that could end up not being a deck. So we'll have to be careful and try and make and commit pretty soon to something. So I don't know how many of these Conclave Phalanxes are going to make it back, but if they all do, then that'll be good. Otherwise, I'll probably miss the Death Mark a fair amount, but I think that if I want to even think about moving into this, then I need to start taking cards for it right now. Take this Plummet for the sideboard if I end up in green. And there's another Apostle's Blessing, Sylvan Bounty. Pick up a Sylvan Bounty. I'll take a Blood Throne Vampire or two. Alright, so it doesn't look like red-black's very open. There was just this Gouger and then kind of nothing. So it's a little bit awkward, but it looks like the green-white tokens deck is sort of open. So I think I'm gonna try and do that, and then maybe if we pick up a couple other fixers, and we can still play this Burst Lightning and the Lightning Bolt. That's at least the plan for now. At the same time, we could just try and force red-black. I don't know how many. It's unlikely that there's somebody to my left in. Rather, yeah, there's somebody. It's unlikely that there's somebody to my left in red-black, so I might get rewarded in this pack, and that might be enough to fill out a deck. But I really only have like what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 playables, maybe 7 playables from the first pack. So I don't really want to be moving into. Wow, this is not a. I mean, this is a Phantom draft, but that's a pretty incredible pack. Foil Karn, Dark Confidant, taking the Karn. There's a good chance that I get something back for green-white. Rukin Ally, Arrest, Sign of the Wild. Obviously, Rest and Sunlance. Well, Sunlance could come back. I've seen that happen a fair amount. Anyway, I just tend to get pretty good opens when I'm drafting on video, huh? Alright, I don't think that there's any way I would ever not take Karn, so there's a Blood Ogre here, so it's kind of what I was saying, but I'd rather pick up a Scatter the Seeds. So let's do one of these Converted Mana Cost Swords, and then let's bring out our spells so we can kind of see what we got going on here. Yeah, alright, let's take this Scatter the Seeds and see how that goes. Alright, let's consolidate here. Let's do it. Mouse disappearing, preview card being annoying. I don't know. Too much going on. So yeah, this is the remains of our red and black cards. There are these Bloodthrone Vampires, so if we end up in like green black sacrifice instead of green white or green white black kind of scenario, then I can play those, but not really looking to. I don't find that card to be too impressive in general, so yeah, I'm okay. I did kind of ship a fair bit of Nest Invaders in the early bits of the first pack, didn't I? But a lot of the cards were tabling, so Nest Invader can go in any deck. It doesn't have to be in a green-white token stack. So, yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we'll get some stuff back, and we can kind of build a deck, and in the third pack, get rewarded. Well, there's another Scatter the Seeds, so I guess nobody to my left directly was in it, because you don't usually take much over a Scatter the Seeds. I mean, somebody could take like an Arrest over it, and I wouldn't fault them. But Oblivion Ring, something like that. But yeah, I mean, picking up 2 Scatter the Seeds early on in the pack is really sweet. I need some early drops, but green 2 drops are pretty replaceable. There's Aqua Strand Spider, Gnarlid Pack, and that other guy, Gnarlid Pack, and I just had him in my brain momentarily ago. Oh, it'll come to me when I see him. Oh, Nest Invader, that's what I was talking about. Obviously, Nest Invader's the best of those, but they're all at common, so it's usually pretty easy to pick 1 or 2 up. And then, of course, there's stuff like Rune Servitor, which you can always play. Speaking of Mr. Aqua Strand the Spider. Necroskitter's is kind of a good card, but I think I'll end up being in green-white, so. And either way, he's black-black, and I'm probably going to be focused on green. I'd rather take Cathodian as a stronger card over Aqua Strand Spider. I don't mind the Spider, but I think that this 3-drop is going to be better than this 2-drop, even though I want to be playing early creatures so that my Convoke spells are going to be cheaper. It is. I also do want green creatures instead of artifact creatures, but that just goes to show you how much better I think Cathodian is than a 2/2 for 2 with a little bit of upside. I really do appreciate the upside on that card, though, because being able to block flyers and stuff can often be extremely relevant. Okay, so this pack's kind of a blank for us. There's another Necroskitter. Probably just take this Plummet out of the pack. There's a Kite Sail too, but I don't know. I mean, Kite Sail's not quite as good if we don't have like 3 Sign of the Wilds or something like that. Could take a Wayfarer's Bauble, which is looking like it wouldn't be terrible in this deck. I've got Karn up top. I might want to splash these red spells, but I think that Plummet for the sideboard is pretty nice, even though you can pick up Plummets a little bit later than that in general, so no real rush to get there. So with Rune Servitor and Cathodian already, I think Mirrorsmith might be better than Kami of Ancient Law. I've done this before, where I've taken Mirrorsmith and just kind of gotten like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 artifacts with a Blinding Soul Eater and a Flare Husk, a Sickle Slicer, a Cathodian, that kind of thing, and then you can sort of get some token aspect out of this card, and it's worked for me in the past. So yeah, I wouldn't mind picking up a Rampant Growth, but I think I'd rather have the 2-drop that has a little bit more upside, and I think it's enough more upside over something like Kami of Ancient Law, so happy about that. There's another Gnarlid pack here, but I don't really have enough to take advantage of all the tokens that I'm making yet, so I'm going to be pretty happy to pick up this Fortify. You got to be careful, because Fortify doesn't seem like a card that should go early, but then at some point you're looking at your deck and it's way too late and you don't have anything for it. I'm going to take this Gruul Turf here. It's not over much, and I think I'll probably want to play it. I'll want to play Bounce Lands if I want to be casting Karn at any point this game, and it also will facilitate the red splash if I do end up wanting to go with that. I don't have any Eldrazi Spawn token makers yet, which is a little bit awkward. I would love to be playing 2-3 Ghostlex Predators and multiple Nest Invaders with Karn at the top, but that's alright. I'll take a Gruul Turf here and be happy about it. And wow, Rookin Ally and Sign of the Wild both tabled. I think Sign of the Wild is a better early or better payoff card than Rookin Ally, even though Rookin Ally does more in the late game. So I'm pretty safe to say that I'm the only one in green tokens. I mean, I guess that pack was good, but I don't really know. Could take a Shrivel here, but 2 Cthulhu Thalad's going to be great with my 4 Convoke spells over there. Plus, this card just ends up doing a lot more work than I think it should. Because when I first read this card, I have no desire to play it. It's a 1/1 for 1 that makes a 1/1 for 1. Which, sure, you get some value out of it, but neither having a 1/1 for 1 or 2 1/1s for 1, it just doesn't seem like enough value. But It ends up getting the job done, I think. Fair bit of the time. I'll take this Dread Drone. You never know. I could end up being in black instead of red. It's a little bit better to me than taking a second Apostle's Blessing or a Splash Wrapped in Flames or hating one of these two cards. Probably won't even play against them. Alright, on the same note that I took the other bounce land, I'll take this one, because again, you never know if I want to be in black. Open a black bomb or something. And Ulamog's Crusher is not really a card that I would love to play in this deck. No chance I'm playing any of those three, and I'd rather just take the best one of the bunch. So yeah, there's a second Dread Drone. So if I really don't pick anything else up in the early sort of the game, and I kind of need another token maker or two, then those Dread Drones will kind of get the job done. So this is an interesting decision. I've actually had this choice in my last draft too. Do I want Scoop Mob, which is probably the more powerful card, which also works with my Convoke? Or do I want something like Raise the Alarm, Scion of the Wild? So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take Raise the Alarm, because I'm really lacking in that effect, and hope to table the Scion, because there will be another really powerful green card, so the next green drafter is probably going to take that, and these Scions have been tabling, so crossing my fingers here, but I think that there's a reasonable chance that I'll get the Scion back. But yeah, it is definitely a loss to lose out on a good card like Scoop Mob. So it might have been correct to just go ahead and take the Scoop Mob. But yeah, I'm happy to pick up a Kozilek Spider. As I said, I would really like to have more token makers, and I would very much like to be able to make some Eldrazi spawns to get to Karn here. I do want to pick up another Fortify or something at some point, but we'll see what kind of cards come along. Wow. Okay, this pack's insane for us. It's one of those situations where we wouldn't be too far off of just wanting to take the pack and calling it a day, but I guess it's not that good for us. So it's got Algae Gariel, which is great with all the tokens that we're going to be making. Better in a black deck where we can play Bloodthorn Vampires and Dread Drones, sacrifice stuff. I mean, to be honest, if I hadn't taken that Raise the Alarm and I had taken the Scoop Mob, could have been just green-black instead. Just played 2 Dread Drones, 2 Bloodthorn Vampires. I'll keep that in mind throughout the rest of the pack, and I don't think that's going to end up where we want to be, but I'll definitely keep that in mind. So yeah, I mean, Algae Gariel, Overwhelm, Blinding Soul Eater, we wouldn't mind an Aquastrand Spider and a Tukatung, and then a third Dread Drone we could play if we were in black, but alas, we are not. Okay, so here I'm going to take the Nest Invader, and by taking the Nest Invader, kind of in a weird way, I'm saying that I want to splash red because I don't have much in the way of removal other than my 2 red cards, so by taking a really good 2-drop, I'm kind of saying, alright, fine, I'll splash. And that means that I'm going to look for an Evolving Wilds or a Wayfarer's Bauble or a Rampant Growth, and hopefully I'll pick one of those up, or maybe even a Sylvan Bounty, I don't know. But yeah, or I guess actually since I have the Sylvan Bounty and the Gruul Turf, all I really need to do is just play a Mountain, and I'll have 3 sources for 2 cards, and that'll be fine. But I don't even know if I want to splash the Burst Lightning and Lightning Bolt. They're not too good off the splash. Alright, Sigil Blessing. It's not quite Fortify, I think it's actually better though. Maybe better, maybe worse. I don't know. It's just, it has a lot more applications, I think, so I'm really happy to be playing a card like that in this deck. Wow, it's a really late Noble Hierarch. I mean, I knew that green was pretty underdrafted here on this board, but this card is really good, and you don't expect it to go this late. Even though I do have a fair bit of Convoke, it's still really sweet to pick up one of these. That's the second Devouring Greed this pack. There is somebody who is thrilled. So I could either take the Selesnya Sanctuary for some fixing and as an upgraded second bounce land, or just grab this Aquastrand Spider. And since I only have 4 2-drops, I think I'd rather play an Aquastrand Spider. But yeah, hopefully, actually I don't even know if there is one. Yeah, I don't think there was one open, but I was hoping to get the Kavu Primarch, or at least 1 or 2, or one of those rather. Take a Sickle Slicer here over a 2-drop in Kami of Ancient Law. it works well with my Mirrorsmith, which I'm probably planning on playing, so yeah, it's good support for that. Honestly, I played this card as just a 2-drop, so being able to get some value off it is fine too. And maybe red black Bloodthirst was open this draft. I don't know. I haven't really been paying much attention, but a Stormblood Berserker coming back is a little bit strange. So I thought this was the pack that I opened. So maybe it's the next one where I'm going to get that Sign of the Wild back. Or at least I hope I do. That'll definitely go a long way in this kind of deck. And it's possible that I just play the deck without any removal. I didn't get it back. That's pretty annoying. Not happy to hear that. I'll take the Scuttling Death. I don't think I'm going to play any of the cards in the pack. So I'll take... I mean, taking the Scuttling Death when I've already passed 3 Devouring Greeds is a little bit brutal. I'm kind of just hoping not to get matched up against that guy or to be able to just go around him. Alright, well, we'll steal the Devouring Greed. I don't need a 3rd Dredge round that I'm not playing. There might just not be a Spirits Drafter, which is insane, because coming into this draft I was thinking, should I just try and force Spirits? That'd be interesting. So right now if we take out the red cards, which kind of includes Sylvan Bounty, then we're down to 22, so we still need a playable, but Apostle's Blessing is also a little bit weak. There's 12th pick Thief of Hopes. With 13 creatures, is Commune with Nature really good enough? Probably not. So we didn't really table much in this pack, which is unfortunate because I was definitely banking on that a little bit. Maybe we'll get a Tukatung Phalid. I don't remember what else is left in the packs. There was that pack where we had everything. Yeah, that was about now. We could get a Tukatung back, which would be nice. Maybe I should have taken... No. I mean, the deck's not bad as it is. Got a Karn, got a couple Sign of the Wilds. Ooh, gnarly pack. Saving the day. Giving me a playable right before the end of the draft. Because I don't really want to be playing these red cards. Neither of them are excellent on the splash. They're not horrible, but yeah, maybe I do play them and I just cut crappy pump spells. Let's see, so we've got 26 cards here, so we would need to make 3 cuts. Could cut like Mirrorsmith Sickle Slicer. Alright. Not too much in the sideboard. Didn't pick up any Tarashi's Grasps or Sundering Vitaes. I don't think I really saw too many of either of those. Neither of these cards are really 5s. Well, this card I guess is in the deck for now. This is a creature. Alright, so we've really got 1, 2, 3, 4 more creatures. So we've got 18 creatures right now. Alright, well, so what happens if we cut these 3? Go down to 25, 23, so that's like the amount of playables that we want, but I just don't think I want to be playing Apostle's Blessing, and if I can help it, I'll take out a Rune Servitor. Well, if I take that out, then I kind of want to cut Mirrorsmith, but then I have too few 2-drops. So that's a little bit of an awkward 1, 2, 3 kind of angle. Maybe I just cut the Mirrorsmith instead, or maybe I cut both. That's too many 2-drops missing, right? So I only have 6 plays before turn 2. Well, I guess I have Sylvan Bounty as well. This is 23, and I think I want to play 23. This isn't bad. I mean, all the cards in the deck are pretty sweet. I think I'd like to play something like Mutagenic Growth. It allows me to enter in combat towards the beginning of the game without giving up any tempo, but still being able to maintain my creature count for stuff like Sigil Blessing and Fortify. I don't have too much of that, or Scion of the Wild rather. So normally trading with this deck is pretty bad, but there are some matchups where you really want to be trading. So it does kind of help with that little situation. All right, and then we'll play one mountain, a lot of forests, and a couple of plains. So one mountain, definitely more than 4 plains, probably something like 7 plains. This is 9 green sources with these two. 7 plains is definitely enough. Maybe 6 plains I can get away with, and 10 green. So that's 15. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work for me. Because I have Noble Hierarch and Sylvan Bounty in a pinch to get another white source, so it's really 8 white sources instead of 6, and I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white cards. So, yeah. Well, if I've only got 5 white cards, is there any thought to just playing the black instead? What does it give me? It gives me 2 Dread Drones, 2 Bloodthrone Vampires, and a Plagued Rusalka. Instead of Raise the Alarm, double Conclave Phalanx for it. I don't think that's as good. If I had like an Ulamog's Crusher in the sideboard, then maybe I would consider it because I can get Dread Drone plus Ulamog's Crusher going on. But I probably should have thought about this more. I know that I mentioned it and I said it at some point, but I really thought that white was going to be a lot more open when the Conclave Phalanxes were tabling. That would maybe get a late Raise the Alarm in some pack, but that never ended up happening. Unfortunate. Alright, so what did we land on? 6, 9, 8. Yeah. Alright. Let's play some Magic. I think this deck's good. I can definitely win some games with it. Yeah, I'll see you in the first round. Hey guys, here for the first round. A pretty awesome hand. Turn 2 Nest Invader, turn 3 Phalanx, turn 4 Phalanx. Seems good to me. It'd be nice if one of these were a scatter. That would probably help me a little bit more. It's a little squished, isn't it? A little better. Trying to keep it out of the way. Make sure that you can see the cards if you aren't as familiar with them. I know not everybody is super familiar. Have to hold off on the Rot Farm for now. It's one thing that's kind of an interesting balancing factor to the bounce lands. So just if you haven't really played with them much or haven't heard people, I should probably put these on. No, okay. If you haven't played with them much or you haven't heard people talk about them much, you might not realize, but the bounce lands are actually just card advantage because they take up one land drop for the turn, but they make you bounce one, so it doesn't give you a tempo advantage, but in the long term, you're going to have more mana if you played a bounce land than if you didn't, as long as you miss a land drop at some point in the game. So basically, it'll count for 2 lands, and that's kind of a sweet little advantage. I wonder if I should just block here. Could block with the Eldrazi Spawn and Mutagenic Growth. No, he's not even going to attack. So yeah, so these guys are actually card advantage, and they're balanced out by the fact that if you play them on turn 2 on the draw, then you have to discard a card, and then you kind of end up even. Or if you play them on turn 4, sorry, if you can't play them on turn 1, so there are definitely a lot of, and if you can't keep a hand with all bounce lands, so there are definitely a lot of wrinkles to it, but bounce lands are actually really interesting cards, and I like how they interact with the game here. So the reason why I decided to sequence it this way is because my opponent's playing some probably 5-color deck, so I don't care about the life too much, so I'd rather just have as many Eldrazi Spawn tokens as possible. I could have played the Kozilek's Predator this turn and off of the Eldrazi Spawn, but I'd rather just keep my guys alive. Plus, it'll allow me to get to Karn on turn 5 if I want to, if I draw it. Another interesting thing about the bounce lands that you kind of have to remember to sequence correctly is that they... Oh, I bet he's going to move that counter over now, huh? Is that if you bounce a land, you should make sure to play the same land the next turn, otherwise you're giving your opponent an advantage, and they'll be able to know you have played an extra card. Basically, they'll know an extra card in your hand, because they'll know that you have the land that you bounce back there. So definitely got to be careful with them, and they're really interesting cards, and I think that it's a pretty cool design, and I like that they brought them back for Modern Masters too. Alright, so here, should I attack with both? So if I attack with just the Nest Invader, then I can play Kozilek's Predator and Conclave Phalanx this turn. So let's do that. And again, I don't have to worry about risking this in combat just because I know I have Mutagenic Growth as backup, so if he blocks and has a pump spell himself, then I can do that, or I don't have to, but yeah. So right now I have the tempo advantage because all he's got on board is those two cards, but he's probably going to have card advantage just because he sequenced his lands pretty strangely. He played Forest, Blue-Black, Bounce Land. He might have just wanted to get the 2-drop out on turn 2, but anyway, it leads me to believe that he's likely to have more cards in hand, rather more spells in hand than lands, and I'm kind of out of lands, or out of spells. I've only got one left. So definitely gonna be a game where if I draw Fortify, I'll have a much better chance of winning. I still have a chance to win because right now I have the 4 biggest creatures on the board, and one of my opponent's creatures can't even block, and I'm at 30 and he's at 18, so this guy isn't killing me anytime soon. But if he plays like a 5/5 here, then I'm kind of out of luck. So, or even, I mean, I guess if it's a Cytoplast Rootkin or something like that, then I can always Mutagenic Growth whatever creature he blocks. But I don't know. We'll see what he does here. There are definitely situations where it's not good for me, situations where it is good for me. I can always draw like a Karn, which would be great for me, obviously. Could get rid of his blue-black mana if I wanted. Be a little risky. Karn starts at like what, 6, and then he -3s, and then if he's got any pump spell or anything, and he can just straight up kill it. He's got the flyer out there. Probably start plussing him if I draw it, depending on what he plays here. So obviously my opponent should attack even though I'm at 30, just because I can't block, so nothing else he can do with it. Alright, 3 mana, 4/5 for a Helium Squirter. So that's not actually too... I mean, that actually is a pretty big threat, but since I'm going to be on the aggressive here and I've got a Mutagenic Growth, I should be able to just power right through that. So I don't have the red yet, but that's not a horrible draw, because that does mean that when I do get red, then I might be able to just finish him. Obviously, it doesn't make sense to hold back with any of these guys at this point, because I have Mutagenic Growth in hand, and he has Helium Squirter, so he can make all of his guys flying this turn. I wouldn't be surprised if Helium Squirter blocks, but if it doesn't, I wouldn't be surprised either. I guess I'm hitting him for half his life total here at 9, and then I have a good chance of just killing him the next turn. But if he blocks Aquastrand Spider on Nest Invader, I'll probably just take that trade because I'll need to get through the Helium Squirter eventually. Anyway, the rest of my plan for this turn is just to play the Rot Farm, pick up a forest, and pass. Maybe I'll play the Mutagenic Growth. Yeah, I'd definitely be happy to kill the Helium Squirter and get that off the table right now. Hopefully he doesn't have a Mutagenic Growth of his own. That'll kind of be a blowout, but what can you do? If that's his only block, I'm really happy with it. Means that I still get in for 7 damage. I get to undo what he did last turn and still push through a lot of damage, which is really all I want to be doing at this point in the game. Alright, so Helium Squirter down. Golgari Rot Farm is going to be on the battlefield. And unfortunately, I do not have another play. So the fact that Mutagenic Growth traded for his 5 mana would normally be amazing for me, because that would mean that I would be able to get even further ahead on board than I already am. But in this situation, that's just not the case, because I didn't capitalize on being able to do something with my other 4 or 5 mana, however much I could have had, because I could have actually had 5 mana last turn, even though I only have 3 up now, and I only played 1 spell, because I could have Mutagenic Growth for free, and then with 28 life, it's not really too much of a concern to me. And then I easily would have been able to still play pretty much any of the spells in my deck. So, alright, so he's got a big Kavu Primarch here. Right? Or, yeah, Kavu Primarch kicked. I think that I'm still just going to try and push through some more damage. Hopefully I'll draw Fortify or Sigil Blessing or Red Source. Or Karn. Karn would be good. In fact, I think Fortify or Sigil Blessing is definitely going to be lethal here. Red Source would also be lethal. So, plenty of good draws. Cathodian, not quite lethal. But I'm not winning this game by holding back, so I'll push through my 7 damage, and that knocks him into a range where Burst Lightning will kill him, and he's got to actually muster up some sort of defense for the turn after in order to survive Cathodian. Oh, he's only, actually I'm only hitting for 6 because he blocks the bigger creature here. That makes sense. Which is a little bit awkward because that means that the Red Source doesn't kill him now. But it probably still does. So yeah, definitely looking to draw a Red Source or one of my Creatures Matters spells, or Karn. A lot of good draws, really. And a couple of bad ones. I could draw an inefficient, like basically this last turn was a bad draw with Cathodian. I could draw another inefficient, useless 2-drop. I could draw like a Tukatong Thallid. But again, I'm not really under too much pressure, so I have a lot of time to draw my cards. But last turn being able to push through 2 damage, or 6 damage, was worth it. First of all, I thought it was 7 damage, which is a lot more relevant than 6 damage. And second of all, being able to do that before he gets that Kavu Primarch into the red zone. I mean, if he draws another Helium Squirter or something like that, then I'm taking 9 in the air, and I'm almost dying. But I guess he can't really start attacking. Anyway, it's important to trade off that Kozilek's Predator for a Lava Axe at this point in the game. Alright. Waiting. Let's pull up the deck list in the meantime so we can get an idea of what we want to be drawing. This is my beautiful previous deck list. Is that this? This is annoying. Alright, well, whatever. Okay, that's a pretty good draw for him, because that means that his Kavu Primarch can play offense and defense at this point. This graph, people do not play around this card well most of the time. He didn't attack with this. It's a little bit suspect, but I'm going to start chumping now. Having the extra creatures does a little bit for me, but not much. I'm really not sure what he's doing with that Cloud Elemental. Maybe playing around like Kite Sail or something, I suppose. Which is a reasonable effort, but I don't know. Alright, there's a gnarly pack. Worst draws have been in existence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can pump him 2 times. Right? Yeah. Yeah, so playing a 6 mana 4/4 isn't it obviously isn't good on this board, but it's not horrible. And I mean, here I could push through another 2 damage, knocking him down to 3. It would be at the expense of one of my creatures. I could have actually done it for 1 more if I wanted, but I think I'd rather keep the Eldrazi spawn out. Yeah, it might actually be worth pushing through that extra 2 damage now that I think about it. It also forces him to trade off. This gets worse if he's got a... I definitely should have done it before I played this, but I just thought about it after. Oh, no. Does he have a steady progress? Because that would be the worst. No. Okay, he's just untapping his guy. Good. Okay. Right, so I'm actually just going to be trading the Kavu Primarch for a Graph Mage here. And Aqua Strand Spider for a Nest Invader, which is really not a bad trade. He could take 4 going to 1. I don't think that that's where he wants to be. So this play puts him dead to me drawing a red source, or to him not having another creature. He's only got 2 cards in hand, so wouldn't be unreasonable. And he's obviously still dead to Sigil Blessing or Fortify, so there's just a good portion of my deck that kills him on the spot here. He's only got 3 cards in hand, and also his best way of winning is getting like a Thrumming Bird plus Helium Squirter action going on, so... Alright, this is a Pelakka Worm. That is one downside of making the play that we made. I still don't know why he held back with the Cloud Elemental. We can still draw into Sigil Blessing or Fortify. There's Sigil Blessing. Okay, so let's see what happens if we attack with everything. He blocks this and this, and he takes 5, 6, 7. Huh, that's not quite enough. Wish I had another Eldrazi spawn. I mean, I could also just do it on the... I'll probably Sigil Blessing on the Gnarlid pack. I still have a couple of chump blockers for that, so hopefully he'll block here. I think I should attack, though, just because once he untaps, you never know what's going to happen, and I have to draw like a Scatter the Seeds in order to make the Sigil Blessing better. And making this attack puts him still dead to Burst Lightning if I want. But now that... Whoa, are you not blocking the Gnarlid pack? Oh, he's just blocking it with that, which I think is better, actually, for him. So that's 5, 6, 7. Puts him dead to a red source. I can chump block that guy anyway for a couple of turns. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. Not 100% sure this is the right move, but it's the move I'm gonna make at this point in the game. I still have a couple of chump blockers for the Primarch. Pelakka Worm's gonna kill me, but not so quickly. And I have 3 red sources in the deck, so that should be pretty easy to find one, right? I can also draw into, like, Scatter, which is probably still lethal. I wonder if he just attacks with everything here. No, he's just attacking me for 2? Buddy, what's up? You gotta kill me at some point. And he had another play, even to give his creature Shroud? That seems really suspect, not attacking with the Pelakka Worm or the Primarch there. And he's down to 1 card in hand here. Hopefully it's not a counterspell. And there's my red source. I'll pass to my end step, see if he cracks the Wayfarer's Bauble. If not, I'll do it as upkeep. I think he'll crack the Wayfarer's Bauble. It's just a little bit better to do it now. Alright. Instead of seeing if he has a counterspell. Alright, so I mean I played to my outs and I got lucky enough to draw one of my 3 red sources, and we ended up winning that game, which I definitely could have seen us not winning. That is for sure. So there are some amount of plummets that I want to be playing. In fact, enough that I just want to take out the red splash. So the mountain, and I can take out the mountain, add another plains into the deck. And we've got 39 cards, so we got to put one more card in. Make an Apostle's Blessing to get a big Scion or Algae Gariel through at some point. You didn't have much in the way of removal. The reason why I'm happy bringing both plummets is because I saw a Helium Squirter. So if he ever draws that Helium Squirter, then I can just basically use it at instant speed, kill any creature, which is pretty awesome. So it's either a 2-drop or Apostle's Blessing. I think I'll bring in an Apostle's Blessing. But definitely risky. Alright, buddy. Well, I guess he's got a pretty wonky sideboard plan for me. I feel good about my chance of winning this matchup. I think my card quality, or rather, I think my strategy, my card strategy is a little bit better than his, just the decks matching up. It seems like he has a pretty good version of his deck, though. There's a Cloud Elemental in it, which I'm not too big of a fan of. And I didn't see any Throwing Birds, though. I have to assume that there are a couple floating around in his deck somewhere. But yeah, I think I'm pretty advantaged, even though I'm not sure how advantaged I was to win the first game. Did not draw this Sigil Blessing at the right time, but it still got the job done. It turns out, I guess, yeah, if I hadn't made that attack, I probably still would have been okay. Alright, this hand is not great. I'm going to keep it, but hopefully we'll draw a land. And we get into... oh, that's an awesome draw. We get into the territory that I was saying is really awkward before, where if we play this Gruul Turf on turn 2, then we have to discard, which we don't want to be doing. But I think I just have to do it, so that I can keep my curve intact. And the really awkward part is I think I just have to discard a spell. And since my hand is really just doing what it wants to do anyway, I'm going to discard this Conclave Phalanx. It might be a little bit counterintuitive. It's really between these two cards right now. It might be a little bit counterintuitive for me to discard the Phalanx over the Plummet. The Phalanx is just going to basically... actually, maybe I do just want to keep the Phalanx. It's going to be basically a free spell, which is awesome. Yeah. The reason why I'm keeping the Plummet is because it's a card that, like, if my opponent has a really good draw, then this card will make it so that I don't lose the game. Whereas Conclave Phalanx will just kind of lead and add to my general plan of the game. I definitely picked up a forest last turn, so that was a huge mistake playing this land. This is exactly what I told you guys not to do in the first game, so whoops, my bad. Anyway, the plan here is to... it doesn't seem like I will have much trouble winning this game. Oh, wait. Yeah, sorry. That's fine. So the plan here is to play Algae Gharial, and then next turn play Kozilek's Predator and scatter the seeds. And then I still have Apostle's Blessing, which I don't even really need because Algae Gharial has Shroud. And I have 1 billion creatures. So that's why keeping the Conclave Phalanx makes sense too. It is going to end up being just a ton of damage. Awkwardly enough, sorry, it would have gained me like 7 life, which is pretty much gonna outdo what the Cloud Elemental is doing to me anyway. Alright. Sign of the Wild would be really sweet to get down right now, but I can't play it. And the Scatter. Could I play it in Scatter? So I've got 5 mana, and then this will end up costing 2. So I actually could play both Scion and Scatter, which might be better than Kozilek's Predator attack and Scatter. Yeah, I think that actually is a lot better. Oops. Unfortunately, due to the nature of Sign of the Wild, I have to tap out like that. I mean, if he's got a Mana Lake here or a Remand, it's pretty bad for me, because then I can't do anything else this turn. I can hit for 4, I suppose, but not really where I want to be. Kozilek's Predator. Look at him, he's got these cute little guys chasing after him. So cute. Adorable card art. So either he's away from his computer or he's really thinking hard about this one. But if you've got a 2-mana counterspell and there's a Sign of the Wild on the stack, then and there's already 2 creatures on the battlefield, you're gonna want to counter it. Alright. I think I just want to do this now. Right? There's no real point in waiting until his end step. Just gives him another chance to draw a counter. So let's do this now. Just making like however many 100 people end up watching this video wait, meanie. And the good thing about Kozilek's Predator with Algae Gharial is that I can just sacrifice the Eldrazi spawns to make it bigger at any point. Having access to Apostle's Blessing up with a 9/9 Sign of the Wild is going to be valuable. Alright, so let's just attack for way too much damage. Doesn't actually add any damage for me to sacrifice these Eldrazi spawn, but that's alright. Probably should have actually left up a forest instead of a plains, because all plains does is allow me to cast a cheaper Phyrexian Apostle's Blessing. Cheaper in terms of life total, but if I had left up a green source, then I could plummet something at end step. So he is playing black for a reason. I thought he was just green-blue and he was playing a blue-black bounce land, but anyway, managed to win that match. So yeah, that's fun. I'll see you guys in the second round. Hey guys, what's up? Here for some more Magic, and I've got a decent enough starting hand. It's obviously not great, I don't have red or white, but I should be able to get a turn 3 Scatter the Seeds, so that should work out for me. Might be playing against Affinity, but can't be 100% sure. It's not like a turn 3 Scatter the Seeds is incredible or anything, but it should do me good. Okay, certainly looks like Affinity. There's some artifacts, some blue and white mana sources. He's obviously not attacking here. Alright, well there's my red mana. Not sure exactly when it's going to come online, but I think I'd rather get the Aquastrand Spider and leave myself with the possibility of getting a turn 3 scatter. So the thing about playing a Gruul Turf there is, sure, I can play a Sickle Slicer the next turn for sure, but I'll only have 3 mana, so I won't be able to convoke everything out, and I won't have the Aquastrand Spider on board. So I'll have 3 mana, 1 Tukatung, and I won't be able to play the Scatter the Seeds. So it would be a little bit awkward by doing that, but certainly wouldn't be horrible. Ended up getting a little punished because he had a Sunlance anyway. So here I can play the Gruul Turf and get the red source online, or I can play a Sickle Slicer and make efficient use of my mana. This is actually a really tough choice. I do not know what to do. I'll play Sickle Slicer. I still get to do Scatter the Seeds next turn, which should work out alright for me. It's a little bit annoying if he does something like Fairy Mechanist here, and by the time I can kill it, he equips it up with a Copper Carapace, but he's just going to throw a Copper Carapace on that thing. That's alright with me. Not really losing this race, especially because if I ever draw a white source, then I'm golden. Alright, so let's just play a Scatter the Seeds here. And then we'll bounce this land back to our hand. Could triple block this turn, but I don't think that's really going to be beneficial to my long-term strategy of winning this game. Hopefully we don't see something like Rusted Relic here. It'd be kind of brutal, but I feel like he would have played it last turn if he had one. He could play like a Mirror Enforcer here, which is probably equally as bad. Mole Drifter, alright. You got yourself a Mole Drifter. I'll attack with the Germ. Okay, and I'll just play Cathodian, leaving my red source up in case I want to Burst Lightning something. If he goes to equip Mole Drifter with a Copper Carapace, then I will definitely shoot it out of the sky. So I could just wait, because Burst Lightning can always be kicked, and if I don't draw a white source next turn, then I won't be able to play another spell anyway. Alright, this is interesting. I think I'm just going to block with Tukatung Thallid. Don't actually lose a creature this way. Kind of does some good hedging, where I can still maintain the amount of creatures I have on board, but I don't have to trade off Cathodian. I figure he's got something bigger. Precursor Golem. That's not actually too big of a deal for me here, because I have the Burst Lightning still. Would like to draw planes. Okay. Choose targets for new copies. 1, 2. Wait. Okay. Alright, and now we can get in there for a lot of damage. 8, 9 damage. Oh, that's... I guess, I mean, he's still at 7. I'm down to 11. I really need to draw that white source so I can get Conclave Phalanx online. But, yeah, we'll see what he can really do here. If I draw, well, I guess both Fortify and Central Blessing are white, so those would be inefficient draws. If I draw a white source, then I think I'm very likely to win this game because I'll get back the tempo that I've lost so far. But if I don't, then I actually will probably lose the game pretty soon because I don't have a removal spell for Muldrifter anymore, so you can just give it +3/+3, make it a 5/5, and kill me in 2 turns. Could always move the Sickle Slicer over to another creature to get another bigger thing that can actually attack in. Ooh, that's bad for me. Unless those might actually be his only 2 artifacts. Hopefully he doesn't have a Cranial Plating anywhere in the deck. Okay, he's got something. He's got a Sickle Slicer, it looks like. So now even with the white source, I'm not sure I'm a favorite to win this game. Alright, I think I want to do this. If we can trade for Muldrifter plus Tajnar, then I'll be happy. If he takes 5, I'll clearly be happy because I'll be able to kill him next turn. But yeah, definitely getting the flyer out of there when I have so many tokens is going to be pretty valuable. But yeah, I expect just a chump block here. It's definitely the right play. I think I'm actually going to risk and hold back on the scatter just to try and ambush my opponent with enough damage for lethal in case he decides to swing out or something. Alright, so he's going for the 2-turn kill. So let's assume he's got another creature, which is, I think, fair to say. I'll have 7, 8 attackers. He can block the 2 biggest ones and take 6, so he won't actually die. So I think I have to... I think I'm just going to chump block. Of course, it sucks if he doesn't have another creature here, but he's got 3 cards in. I think it's safe to say that he's got something. There's a Water Servant. And there's another Water Servant. Okay. Alright, so we really want to draw that white source so we can gain enough life to survive a couple more hits. That's not the worst draw in the deck. Definitely going to attack here, because if I can just trade for a Water Servant, then I'll be pretty happy. Alright, let us see what you have. Of course, does he have enough mana? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, he just has enough mana to kill me in the air with Moldrifter this turn, because he can equip Sickle Slicer and Copper Carapace. It's not even that risky for him, so he has no real reason to not do that. Which kind of sucks. And he's definitely going to see it. He's made the right play basically every turn this game. Probably took an extra hit from the Germ when I didn't need to. Really haven't seen too many reasons to bring in Plummet. There's one Moldrifter and there's a bunch of equipment, but that deck usually has a bunch of flyers and likes to throw equipment on them, so yeah, unfortunate that I couldn't draw the white source there, but that is what's going to happen at some point in a game of Magic, so can't really complain too much. Right, so I'm going to bring in this Plummet. I'll probably drop this Sickle Slicer. It's not too aggressive of a card. I don't really need it in the deck. It does help my creatures get through. I think I'll be happy enough with that sideboard. I think there's just a reasonable expectation for him to be playing stuff like Somber Hoverguard or Glinthawk Idol that I want to be able to kill. And I mean, if he does just spend a lot of turns and a lot of mana equipping flyers up, then that'll be a really valuable thing to be able to do. Alright, this hand's great. It's really just excellent. Hopefully he doesn't have a Sunlance on turn 1, but even if he does, it's not too big of a deal. Anytime you get to start with a Noble Hierarch, it's great. Anytime you're going to empty your hand by like turn 4, or turn 3 rather, that also works. And I still can attack for 3 next turn and play Scatter the Seeds and then have Sigil Blessing up. This might be a quick game. Wow. Can't quite cast that guy yet. I mean, I could cast him, but I think I'd rather just play Scatter, because if I draw a land next turn, then I can have the Eldrazi spawn set up to already give my Gariel +1/+1. I don't think it's really going to matter. The only thing is he was tapped out last turn, so that would give me another option to get through a counter spell. But if he's not playing anything this turn, he's leaving mana up, then I'm going to be okay. It'll be just fine. All right. I think I'd rather just play Gariel this turn than play like Sigil Blessing. I definitely should have played it pre-combat, because, well, I mean, he's definitely not going to double block. But if I played it pre-combat, then I can just attack with the team, and that's a lot better. So, yeah, that was a mistake. Definitely did not play this turn well. A little disappointed. But we are still way far ahead because my draw is really good. There's no way here for me to keep up both Lightning Bolt and Sigil Blessing. Because I have to play Sylvan Bounty to get the mountain, and then that doesn't work out. So if I charge in with everything, he's likely to block this on this, this on this, and this on this or this. And then Sigil Blessing is just a huge blowout. The only way this doesn't work out for me is if he double blocks the Gariel. And if he does that, then I get in for not that much damage. Maybe I just leave this guy back for this turn. I think I like that plan. And I'll also leave Hierarch back so I can Sylvan Bounty. You might just take all the damage here, which would be fine with me. Okay, now I'm just hoping he throws one of these guys out too. Nope. Alright, so let's get this Water Serpent off the table. And push through some extra damage too. Always yes, always yield. Alright, so now my opponent's all the way down to 6 life, which is a little bit awkward. And I feel like he would have double blocked there to play around something like that. He might have even thrown the Mirror Smith on there so he can play around Vines of the Vastwood. But yeah, being able to have Lightning Bolt when my opponent's at 6 and I've got a lot of 1/1 tokens out is pretty good. Means I just need to push through 3 damage and my opponent dies. And of course he's obviously got no way to deal with the crocodile in a long game either. So I don't really need to kill him right now, but I wouldn't mind it. It's too bad I didn't pick up any Tarashi's Grasp or Sundering Vitae, because those cards are really good in this matchup. I mean, pretty obviously, but either way, we'll see what my opponent can do here. Definitely possibility that he makes it out of these next couple of turns alive. All right. Let's get ourselves a nice mountain. You know, I'm just going to send the team here. I think it's pretty likely that he does something like double block the Gariel, which means that I get to Lightning Bolt him and kill him. And if he doesn't, then he's just chump blocking, so he's probably going to throw the Mirror Smith in the mirror in front of the Gariel, eat one of my tokens, take 3, die. Even if he's got Mana Leak or Remand, he still dies. That seems like the worst thing to kill. Because if I have any sort of pump spell or combat trick or anything, I mean, I guess he's losing to any pump spell or combat trick, so it doesn't really matter. If he, like, somehow reads that he should be blocking a Saproling here to play around Lightning Bolt, that would just be incredible. Wow. What? Oh. He's just taking 5, going to 1. Or taking 4. I don't know. I think he has a pretty clear set out block. This is not what I was expecting. It's not any worse for me though. And I get a giant crocodile. He goes to 4 so he doesn't die this turn, but I don't see what he can. And I don't know why he blocked a Tukatung instead of a Saproling. That was a puzzling situation for me. I think that there were like a lot of strictly better blocks that would leave him dead to Lightning Bolt, but he's not beating Lightning Bolt anyway. He's got to like gain a ton of life or something. I really just don't see how he can turn this one around. It's not like you can play a Polacco Worm with that mana. And even Polacco Worm wouldn't really do anything here. Because this is exactly what I was saying. Even if I don't just kill my opponent early, I still have the Crocodile, and he's got to be able to beat the Crocodile. And he hasn't shown me a card in his deck that can beat the Crocodile. So even though I'm kind of flooding out here, he's still going to die. So he's actually just dead here. Okay, game 3. Oh, I do have the Smash to Smithereens in my sideboard. Could bring that in. That's probably better than like Burst Lightning or something. But I might just want to add a Mountain. Instead of like Mutagenic Growth. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 white sources. I do think that 7 would probably be enough. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 green sources. I think I want to keep it at 10 green sources, and we'll cut one of these planes. And I don't know if I like the second plummet here. It might not be horrible, but we'll see. Alright, so this is a pretty important match. If I win this one, it means that I'm guaranteed to get a 2-1 out of this event, which is nice. Pretty good starting hand. It's not excellent. Drew both my mountains, but actually, it's not that good because I can't even. Ooh, he's mulliganing. I can't do a turn 3 Scatter the Seeds off of Raise the Alarm because I need another forest to do that, which is awkward. Stupid second mountain, man. I mean, it would have been replacing the planes anyway, so it doesn't matter, but still. Alright, there's a Sunspear Shikari, which could be a problem. Interesting. I wonder if I was supposed to play mountain first, because, well, no. I think that this is probably most likely to work out. It would not be reasonable for me to ambush this and kill it here. It wouldn't be unreasonable. I'm not getting an early scatter anyway. I don't have a second. I don't have. Yeah, I'm going to do this because I know that my opponent's got a lot. Well, actually, I have Lightning Bolt, so I can kill it at some point if he plays any equipment. But, alright, so definitely a reasonable trade here. Normally you don't want to be trading off your tokens early, but I think here it would have been pretty reasonable. That's a good draw. So I could just play Mountain and convoke this out, but I think I'd rather get all my other tokens out first. Is this a Remand or a Mana Lake? I mean, he's just got 3 mana and no plays. He did mulligan to 6, so... Alright, Flash Freeze. That is okay with me. So I think next turn I can play Conclave Phalanx. Let's see, I want to play 10 mana worth of spells. And I will have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'll be 1 mana short of doing both. Which is quite awkward. And he's just going to evoke a Muldrifter. Well, it works for me. I mean, it's still a divination, which is obviously a reasonable card to play, but I am happy to be up on tempo. And I'm going to be up on life soon. Alright, so this is 4 with scatter. I'd rather just do it now. So that I don't get countered. Because I know that my opponent sided in Flash Freeze. I don't know what else he sided in. Again, I could use Scatter to double block the Sunspear, but I think it's better for me to leave my tokens alive so that I can get some Conclave Phalanx action going on. Because next turn I could play both Conclave Phalanzi. I could play both Conclave Phalanzi. Maybe it's Phalangi. I'm done. Sorry, guys. Sometimes my brain goes off in weird directions. Okay, he's got a Glass Dusk Hulk. I don't think that matters. Whew. Quite the draw. Alright, so let's do something like this. I'll leave Lightning Bolt up. Pretty good draw against my opponent's pretty bad draw, so let's see if I can actually win. I do have the opportunity to play Sigil Blessing next turn with a lot of creatures out. I've got 7 on the battlefield right now, which means that it's going to be worth at least 5 damage to the face, plus probably a card. Plus I've got a Lightning Bolt. Him playing Chancery before he does anything is a little bit awkward, because that means that he's just not doing anything this turn, which worries me, because I've only got 1 white source, so if he's got a Remand, then I could be in some trouble. When I Sigil Blessing. So he just didn't do anything this turn, which is super confusing and awkward, which it makes me just want to play Nest Invader and pass. I think I'm just going to attack, though, because I can't think of anything that's really that bad for me. I mean, you could have like a repeal on the creature token that I'll pump. Maybe that's a reason to do it on Conclave Phalanx instead. He could have a Vapor Snag. And of course I already mentioned Remand. I just like getting in for a lot of damage. Well, if this card is going to resolve, I want it to kill here. This leaves me a little bit more open to repeal, but I think it's worth it. And it resolves. Well, that's a beating. I guess I forgot to do the All Is Dust check. He could be playing All Is Dust in that day. He's got 7 mana. Should not have played this out. That could be really bad. I usually do the All Is Dust check. Why didn't I do it? It's very awkward. It doesn't seem like it's a great card for his deck to be playing, but he's got it. He totally has it. Oh my god. Alright, well, we need to draw some cards. We have a lot of good draws in the deck. It's a good start. Man, should have just kept that Nest Invader in hand. There was no reason to play it out. Not no reason, but if I had remembered to do the All Is Dust check, then I would have held it in hand for another turn. Ooh. That is scary. So much so that I might want to lightning bolt it, but I'll take another draw first. Fortify. Okay. So what can we do here? How do we win this game? Leaving Mirror Entity alive is a little bit scary. So like, let's say we just attack with both. He's probably not gonna block the Eldrazi spawn token, right? So he does block the Eldrazi spawn token. And I can just fortify. I mean, I could just lightning bolt the Mirror Entity, and then I'm pretty safe this game. If he blocks both, then I could just fortify toughness and sacrifice the Eldrazi spawn. Could just fortify toughness and lightning bolt the Mirror Entity. But if he doesn't block the Eldrazi spawn, then he loses. Whew. Would I block the Eldrazi spawn token if I were him? I probably would, because he's got 2 cards in hand. Alright, I think it's pretty reasonable. There's so much upside to leaving this alive, though. I'm at 29. If I make this attack, then the worst thing that he can do is block the Water Servant here, this here, and then I lose my Fortify and my Lightning Bolt. Or I can just lose my Fortify if I want. My gut is telling me to attack, so I'm just going to do it. And if he makes the wrong block, then he loses. I have to have 2 full cards for this to go bad for him, but I do see, I think it would be unlikely. I don't know, man. Yeah. I really don't know if this was the correct play or not, but fortify the Eldrazi spawn to get in 1 damage, or to get in 2 extra damage. Whew. That was quite the Magic game. I punted it so hard a couple of turns back, but man, that was sweet. And I'm really not sure if that was the correct attack, but we ended up winning, so making it to the finals. Awesome, very excited. I'll see you guys in the next round. Hey guys, here for a game of Magic. I don't actually love this hand, but I don't hate it enough to throw it back, which could be awkward. My opponent's in the red-black Bloodthirst deck, so guess I was right, there is a red-black Bloodthirst player. Crossing my fingers for the, oh, hopefully not turn 2 blood. Oh, right. Okay, so maybe he's the red-white artifacts deck. Interesting. Okay, so it's really not relevant until the end of my turn, but should I be cycling this for a red source, or should I be holding on to it to gain 8 life? My opponent's playing a Goblin Fireslinger, so I can essentially trade this for a card later in the game. It's a good draw. It's reasonable for me to not play it just yet. My opponent kept Mountain Fire Slinger on the play, so it's pretty reasonable that he's going to have a removal spell. So I'll play the Sickle Slicer out first. He might be tempted to kill it, and if not, then if I draw another play next turn, like a 4-drop or even one of my 5-drop removal spells, then I can just I can use those instead. I can play that instead, and then the next turn I can play Sign of the Wild and have Sigil Blessing up. It's a little bit awkward with Spell Guide on the table. But I suppose if he blocks, then it may be worth using the Lightning Bolt. Yeah. Really important to not use Sigil Blessing to try and kill that, because he can just redirect it, obviously. And now next turn I can play Sign of the Wild and leave up Sigil Blessing. So that's pretty awesome for me, because now I can survive anything. Going Fortify is fine. I love how both of our 1-drops are just trading for damage at the beginning of this game. One damage a turn. So definitely got pretty fortunate that my opponent stumbled on mana here. But such is the game of Magic. Drawing Mutagenic Growth is pretty great. So this is going to be 6 damage. I could try and go for the kill here, but it's probably not worth it. I could just play Fortify, see if he goes for to kill one of my creatures. Yeah, let's do that actually. Because by playing Fortify here, he might just try and Lightning Bolt this in response, and then okay, he's just going to concede. Sure. It wasn't even lethal. But yeah, it tempts him to play a Lightning Bolt on my guy, and then I can kill it in response. Okay, so my opponent is playing that annoying red deck, but I don't know what other color he's playing, so that actually makes a huge difference in how I sideboard. Which is kind of annoying. I don't think I really want to make any changes. Could bring in Rune Servitor for Sickle Slicer. Yeah, let's do that. I could just bring in Mirrorsmith instead, but with only 1 artifact, I think I'd rather have a 2/2 that is colorless, as opposed to the 2/1 that needs one of my few white sources. Wow, this is so close to an incredible hand. My God, if I had 1 forest in this hand, I could do it. But I need green to even play a spell this game. It's got Karn in it. I'm going to keep. It's obviously not going to be nearly as good as if I... It's just got really, really good cards. He's playing red-blue. That's... Oh my God. This isn't even rewarded. This is just like punished because I should be punished for this, but I'm not. How lucky. Smoke Braider. Oh, Repeal. What a jerk. It's great for him. I can still play Noble Hierarch and Scatter next turn, and then turn 5 I can play Karn. What is he doing? He's playing blue, red, Thrumming Bird, Bloodthirst, Control, or something. This This is great. I also have a Sigil Blessing. I'm gonna get that Karn out there. It's gonna happen. You'll see, guys. You'll see. Alright, 1 damage. I can take a hit. Another good draw. I don't know what he's doing. My opponent really hasn't done much this game, and he managed to 2-0, so it's a little shocking. Is this like a cryptic command? Sure, you got yourself a mana leak. I am very happy to get that mana leaked instead of my next play. What? I don't want to play Karn. I don't want to play Karn into 5 open mana. Oh, okay. I guess he doesn't have anything, because you counter LG Gariel if you get the opportunity to. It could be he's just flooding out. It should be awkward, but... Could have like an Aether Snipe in hand or something. Or that thing. Unfortunately, I think I kill him here. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's not even correct to play Karn. I can't imagine that I don't kill him here. But let's just do the math. So he blocks the LG Gariel here, or even the Nest Invader. Let's say he blocks the Nest Invader. So then there's going to be 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he's dead. Stupid Karn. Well, that was a really good draw. Alright. Good game. The finals was definitely a lot more anticlimactic than the rest of the matches, but either way, hope you guys enjoyed that draft. Got another 3-0 under my belt, and this will probably be the last Modern Masters draft, but you never know, I might do one on Sunday or something. It's Friday now. Got off for the July 4th weekend. Exciting times. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a wonderful day. Bye.